Well, hello, y'all. It is time to breathe again on the latest Bofa Sports Shortie with your host, Charles Taylor. I am here to talk a little bit about the F them picks world that is happening in the NBA. So, let's start with a little bit of background for the F them picks analogy. So, in the NFL, I'm sure a lot of y'all remember when the Los Angeles Rams general manager Les Snead had said F them picks. And of course, that's the PG version of what he actually said, it meant. But um, he made a series of trades to get people like the quarterback Matthew Stafford, trading first and third round picks, and Jared Goff to Detroit, to the Detroit Lions, to get Matthew Stafford. And he traded multiple picks to get the cornerback Jalen Ramsey as well. And that's just among other moves that were made. But basically, it was a win now attitude. And for the Rams, it paid off. They were able to win the Super Bowl in the 2021 season. And of course, when the victory parade was happening, Les Snead famously said, F them picks again. Now, the aftermath of it was the Rams weren't really able to build their team up because they traded away all the picks. But they did a good job of building up their roster through supplementary picks, through compensatory picks. And now they can draft in the first and second rounds again, and they have a good roster. But they needed to go through a few years of pain because they were able to trade all those picks away in order to win now. And again, it paid off for them because they were able to win the Super Bowl. So that is the background for where I transfer over to the NBA. And you have an attitude where draft picks are basically trade bait, more or less. So just going back through a little bit of the history, you've had multiple trades through the years where teams have given up 4 or 5 picks to get a certain player. So let's go back to 2019 when the Los Angeles Clippers traded with the OKC Thunder to get Paul George, in order to join Kawhi Leonard, who had signed with them in free agency. The Clippers gave up 4 or 5, I think it was 5 actually, first round picks and a player by the name of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Y'all know what SGA is doing right now. That was one trade where there was a whole bunch of picks given up. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they acquired Rudy Gobert through a trade where they gave up multiple picks, sending those to the Utah Jazz in order to get Gobert. And then coming into this year, the New York Knicks traded 5 first round picks to get Mikal Bridges. And now this latest trade where the Orlando Magic acquired Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies for 4 first round picks and another pick swap, sending that to the Memphis Grizzlies. And they also sent Cole Anthony up there too, and Contavious Caldwell Pope, KCP. So it's wild how you have this culture where draft picks are basically bait used for trades in order to acquire players. And it seems like it's the case in the NBA world. You really don't see that too much in the other leagues. And this goes back to what we were talking about on the webcast, where you just have a different world in the NBA than what you have in the other sports leagues around the nation and the world. Now, look, I'm not one to sit here and go against being different or being unique, but if you're in a team sport, part of how you continue to develop and stay competitive and stay, frankly, younger and not get too old is through the draft. And when you look at the NFL, the draft is a big part of it. Sure, free agency and trades, that's part of the deal as well. But the draft is a huge part of what goes on in the NFL. Yes, you have the occasional F them picks attitude that Les Need showed, but for the most part, people are pretty serious about their draft picks in the NFL. The same could probably be said in MLB, where you get these prospects and you keep them in your minor league system, and eventually they get called up. And in the NHL, they're pretty serious about their picks. You have a little bit of trades or trade bait, I guess, that gets used to acquire said player, but for the most part, the NHL, the teams in there, they're pretty good about keeping their draft picks and staying young and trying to develop these players. That is not the case in the NBA. These picks, unless it is a top, we'll say 10 draft choice, maybe even five, those picks are totally used for trade bait, and teams don't really care because the owners and the front office, they 9 times out of 10 are they're going to succumb to the pressure of winning and trying to win now, and they will acquire these players and give, it seems like, a ransom just to acquire these players. It doesn't even seem like they're worried about the fit that comes with acquiring that player. You eat away your depth. And if you're trying to build on the team, you can't do it because you traded away all your assets. And there's a good amount of teams who are in a terrible place when it comes to their rosters because they traded away all of the draft picks. So they can't even try to even build upon the team they put together from trying to win now because they don't have anything to help acquire it. You see the Phoenix Suns right now. They're in that situation, and they're talking about trying to trade Kevin Durant, yet you traded a bunch of assets to get him, and you totally weren't aware of the fit. You're just trying to acquire names. And just because you have a big name, that does not guarantee success. And for the Phoenix Suns, it's been absolute disaster. A big sunset in Phoenix. And we'll see what happens with the Orlando Magic. They have Desmond Bane, and they still have a few assets they can work with as well. But in this case, I can understand where they would make that trade. I think it's actually good for both parties. For Memphis, you get these 4 first-round picks, and because you don't know what you're going to get trying to build around Ja Morant. Ja Morant is always hurt, and then he can't really act outside or off the court either. So you want to make sure you have assets to continue to build around the team because you still have Jaren Jackson Jr. there as well. So you have some cornerstones you can build around, but just in case, you have that draft capital to continue to build. And look, I don't know, but God forbid, stay patient with things. And then with the Orlando Magic, you get Desmond Bane to join guys like Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs. So now you have a nice, solid starting team, and the Eastern Conference looks to be wide open. So Orlando can make some noise getting Desmond Bane. I mean, Desmond Bane's a great player. 4 first-round draft picks, good. I don't know about that, but I can see where the Magic would say we can get this guy, and it would be a better fit because of his three-point shooting as well. Orlando struggled with three-point shooting. So it's just wild just seeing how the NBA has dissolved into a world where draft picks, unless it's the top 5 or 10, draft picks really don't matter. They're nothing more than trade bait. And I never understood why that became the case. Well, that is what I am breathing on for tonight, or for this evening, or it's still in the afternoon. Y'all make sure y'all visit the Bofa Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the Bofa Sports Facebook page. Everybody take care. The webcast is still on schedule to be on Tuesday night at 8:30 live, and we hope to catch you then. Until then, have a great Monday, and we'll speak soon.